only the highest quality and most reliable service. JTR Advanced Security Services Stony Ground is a household name on Anguilla. Tried, tested, and proven. The security authority on the island. We offer a suite of services designed to cater for all your security needs, such as alarm response, mobile patrol, armored guard security, theft prevention, barricade rentals, armored vehicle cash movements, event security, K9 training and sales, mobile ticket booth rental, patrol security, scanner rental, security camera monitoring, security risk assessment, shredding service, vehicle storage, and so much more. Services tailored to suit your security requirements. The best in the business. For service, call JTR Advanced Security Services at 1264-497-0202 or email jtrsecurity@anguillanet.com. You can also check us on Facebook. Remember, it is JTR Advanced Security Services, your first choice for security on Anguilla.
Hold my head high.
Okay, well, good evening to you. Good evening, class of here in the evening time, and it's now time for your Monday night program. We are back following the short carnival summer festival break. I would have mentioned that to you that this week return our programs here. You know this, right? So I want to say good evening to you. Welcome to your Monday night program, the program where we discuss issues, where we engage on issues that are important to all of us as a people. You and I, yes, and we discuss them right here on this platform. Issues that are, the tough ones, not so tough ones, the social ones too. We cover them all right here on this program. So, what's buzzing this evening? What's the big buzz in the land tonight? Well, on a educational, point from that point of view, this afternoon we had with us on the deck here on Class FM CXE, the Caribbean Examination Council CXE, and the registrar and operation manager, Dr. Nancy, and also Dr. Wesley. They were in the studio today. You may have seen them, you would have heard them in the newscast tonight. We also did some work with them as well in terms of a news story. But you're here because tomorrow will be the official release of CXC, the results across the region. And this year, the release will take place here in Anguilla. All right, so I don't recall that happening before in our country. I might be wrong, but it's a very serious thing. So it means that the entire region, from Jamaica right down to Trinidad and Tobago, right across to Dominica, Grenada, the entire region, where CXC exams are written, where schools and governments and countries participate in CXC, will be keyed into Anguilla tomorrow from 10 o'clock from the Teachers Resource Center for the release of those results. So Antigua sitting on their seat's edge, the BVI sitting there too, Dominica sitting there, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Montserrat, the BVI mentioned to you earlier, they're all Grenada, they're all Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, they're all sitting there tonight. And we're waiting for tomorrow morning to hear from the officials speaking to them from Anguilla. It'll be live streamed out of here to the region. So the spotlight will be shining on Anguilla come tomorrow morning. Will be a very special occasion, that's for sure. So tomorrow morning, even here in Anguilla right now, there are students. Even just the night before coming on air, I spoke to a parent who said that he is sitting really on his seat's edge, really waiting to hear how his son will be doing, and that will determine whether or not he stays here, go away. Really further as well. So lots writing on this. Yeah, meaning that going away means he'll be sending him off to school. If once all goes well here tonight, right, or tomorrow morning. So it's a lot writing on, and it's a lot of eager and anxious anticipation that is all pent up here. But tomorrow morning cannot come fast enough for some persons. I'm well aware of that. That's for sure. And students, they're too also anxious as well. But it's great to have them in Anguilla. And great to have them here on Class FM today. As you would have heard them today here on Class FM. A very interesting conversation, and I look forward to engaging with them some more at some point because there's some questions, other questions. We had about 45 minutes today. I have some more questions that I need answers for as relates to CXC and its operations here within Anguilla and around the Caribbean region as well. So guys, you heard that. So we would have heard that, I would have asked questions today about the absenteeism, because that is an issue that has been plaguing CXC for some time too. I was told that is improving as well, so that's a good thing, improving. I would have asked about, the issues of mathematics and English language, because those areas were also troubling. In fact, they are troubling for the region, our young people in the region, from Anguilla right down to Trinidad and Tobago, across to Guyana and Jamaica. They have not been doing too well in math and English. The basics, the foundational subjects. We have had issues with our youngsters in the last couple of years, failing miserably in that regard. CXC would have done some remedial work. They would have reorganized how those modules have been delivered with the hope of delivering smaller sizes, bite sizes pieces, and trying to reduce the load on youngsters so they can learn more, because the belief is that the less you can push on a youngster. If you give him bite sizes, he will be able to work around that stuff with the bite sizes. But when he's overloaded, he shuts right down mentally. So they would have restructured how the modules for math and English, really. And today you heard it here as well on the program when they spoke to us this afternoon, right? So let's hope that all is well, and I wish the Anguillan students all the best, but tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock will be the time for the action. And tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock from right here in Anguilla, you're gonna have all eyes on Anguilla from across the region, from Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and Grenadines. You're gonna have Montserrat, you name it, the BVI, everywhere. St. Martin, all will be locked into Anguilla tomorrow morning for the results. All right, so the entire region tomorrow will be focused here on the homeland Anguilla. So tomorrow the feature address will be delivered by our Minister of Education here in Anguilla, in the person of Shelia Rogers Webster. So tomorrow morning, she will speak from here in Anguilla across the region. She will deliver the keynote address tomorrow right here in Anguilla. So that should be very interesting. Should be a very interesting presentation as well, and I can't wait to hear that either. So we'll have all of that stuff for you tomorrow, right here on the information, of course, right here on Class FM Radio 92.9. Okay, so that's what's up right in that regard right there. Other than that, what's buzzing today out there, folks, and I listened to the Minister of Economic Development today at the government press conference, and Minister of Kyle Hodge. And by the way, folks, please feel free to give me a call at 497-3791 whenever you are ready for an engagement. We are here for that as well, not only for me to be presenting, but for you too to be in there, of course, and also speaking to us here this evening. Right here, we expect an engagement from you as well. You have concerns, you have questions, you have points of view. Well, why not bring them to us? Because we here on Class FM, we're very much interested in hearing your points of view on the very many topics that are swirling around here in our country, Anguilla, right? So just to let you know that. So back to what I was saying earlier about our Minister of Economic Development, Kyle Hodge. He would have mentioned today at the press conference that again, before Carnival, it was said too, and again today he would have mentioned that they are on course to commence work on the Island Water Distribution Network, and he would have given some information about that, how it would be rolled out. He also would have said that during the work, though, and Lot 1 and areas going east of here, when the work began, there'll be no water in the pipe. Right? And we know that there are persons in Anguilla who will rely heavily on pipe water, government water, no systems, etc. And because they're right here on Class FM, every time the pipe goes off, we receive lots of calls from persons across the land And okay, all right. So someone said that it happened here 9 years ago, that they would have spoken from here 9 years ago. Okay, good. I did not know. CXC would have been here 9 years ago. Okay, got you. Well, thank you for the information. Thanks for the update. I did not remember that really, but thank you for that as well, Teach. Okay. So yes. So he would have mentioned that they will be providing water, yes, be it potable water, truck water, to storage for you. If for persons who will be affected by the work happening, they're going to have two projects running one time, one in East, one on Jeremiah Gums Highway. And he would have mentioned that the procurement services they're going through procurement and almost through now, and the work should commence on the road, the redevelopment, not the road, but the water system here in Anguilla sometime in September. He would have said it before, and he mentioned where they are with that in that regard. So let me just bring that into you one time, because let me get that for you one time now. So I want you to hear what, in his words, what the minister said about the water system. I think this is very important news for a person, because God knows that every week we entertain calls from persons across Anguilla with the water woes, right? And water is a basic, and it's a very essential commodity as well. It's a vital source of life, and I could only imagine no water for 2 days, no water for a day, running at all. That is terrible stuff happening there. And the persons who don't have cisterns, the older folks back in the day, they had cisterns, they understood it very well, and they made sure their cisterns were filled up when the rain was, rainy season, and they were very conservative as it relates to how they utilized rainwater back in those days. And even now, there are persons who are still doing that, have cisterns with rainwater, and they use that stuff sparingly and very carefully. All right, but there are some persons who doesn't have cisterns, have to rely heavily on government water, and this is where the problem lies right now, because it's on today, off tonight, on to tomorrow, off tonight, and vice versa, and it affects lots of people across the land. And the reason why that's happening is because we are not storing water in the tank. What we produce at Crocus Bay goes right out to the line. Some goes to leaks, some goes to non-revenue water, some will call it TEF. Some goes there, non-revenue water, leaks, and TEF, all the same non-revenue water, and it just goes away. Some which is just tapping, but we have massive leaks for sure, and other things are happening apparently. So that have to be sorted out as well. They have to sort those things out as well. I'm sure they will. All right. So that's the problem. So right now, for a person though, they're going to fix the pipes, and going east from Proctor's, and the minister said that they intend to have water delivered to you, to some of you. Persons who are affected will be taken care of. But in his words, not my words, but in his words, here's what he said about the water when he spoke to the media today during the Governor of Anguilla's press briefing. Here's what he said.
We have two major water infrastructure projects currently moving through the procurement process. The Long Pad Utility Mains project, the tender for the Long Pad project closes on September the 4th, 2026. The pre-bid meeting was held last Thursday as we continue to move the procurement process forward. Once the tender is awarded, works will begin with lots 1 and lots 2. Lot 1 is from J.W. Proctor to Bass Car Rental. Lot 2 is from Bass Car Rental to South American. We recognize that replacing these mains will cause temporary interruptions for customers along the route. We are therefore putting measures in place before construction begins to minimize the impact on residents. For customers in the affected area who have cisterns, the Department of Water Services will make arrangements to deliver water by truck directly to your cistern when necessary. If you are located within lots 1 or lots 2 and do not have a cistern, please contact the Department of Water Services at 497-1270. The department will work with you to arrange either a water tank or a water bladder to provide temporary storage during the disrupted period. The department will also be going through the affected areas to assess customers and their individual circumstances ahead of the interruption. We want to be proactive rather than wait until construction begins. For communities east of the affected section, we intend to maintain supply by rerouting water around the construction area through other villages whenever the network allows. This is a significant undertaking, and there will inevitably be some inconvenience while the work is carried out. However, our objective is to ensure that residents continue to have access to water while we replace critical sections of our aging infrastructure. The Jeremiah Gums Highway Water Main Project. Regarding the Jeremiah Gums Highway Project, the bids are being opened today. The next step will be for the evaluation committee to review the submissions and recommend the successful bidder. Once that process is completed and the contract is awarded, we will be in a position to provide a further update on the anticipated commencement of works. Both of these projects form part of the government's wider program to replace aging water mains, reduce leakage and non-revenue water, improve reliability, and ultimately build a stronger and more sustainable water distribution system for Anguilla.
All right, so Minister Kyle Hodge speaking there, providing valuable information about the way forward as it relates to, work to be done in the eastern end of the island, from Proctor's up to South American imports, and beyond that point also in South Hill, Lion Point area by Jeremiah Gums Highway as well. But he would have mentioned that persons in the affected area, before the work commenced, you'll be evaluated, checked out to see how you'll be affected, because the mains are going to come up and going to place new mains down there for you, new piping, so it will be some time before you receive water. So if you don't have a cistern, they intend to deliver water to cisterns here in Anguilla. If in that area, if you're affected, they'll call them up, they'll come to you if you need water. And for persons who don't have a cistern, he mentioned that he called the department, he gave a number to call as well, and he would have said that he'll either offer a tank, maybe a black tank, or a water bladder temporarily to take care of the problems until they complete the work there on the mainline system. So that work is setting up in terms of the action, and that the minister would have told us before Carnival, and again he's pressing along with that work should commence on the piping, the network system sometime in September, right? So that's what he would have said to you there in that clip you heard on Class FM just a short while ago. All right, so that's where we are with that. Other than that, though, the other issue that also swirling out there, and one that has been somewhat tricky for some time now, the issue of taxi drivers and those C plates. Minister of Infrastructure spoke about that. For some reason, back in the day, growing up around here, we used to make fun, really, back in the days of taxi drivers, and called all sorts of names. Today, it's a very lucrative business. I mean, back then too, it may have been as well. Back in the day, growing up, though, I am one of the persons who really was not too fond of a taxi driver's job, really. But it's a very important job. It's a very important job. You need to have those persons in society. Growing up, though, as little boys, without fully understanding the vital role they were playing in society, I recall lots of us going to school, at primary school, used to have it for a joke, really and truly. But right now, today, I'm seeing lots of youngsters in Anguilla now applying for taxi licenses and driving vehicles with C plates on them. And what I've gathered so far is that this is a very lucrative business. Persons are making thousands of dollars from this thing, but there's a problem. There's a problem, and there's a need to rectify what's happening. There are persons who would have applied for years for license. Today, the minister mentioned that they have about 100 licensed registered taxi operators, but you have all the C plates around here. They're also applying to trade, and while they cannot go to the port and be on the list for passengers, some men have their businesses set up where people come to them. They offer these services in the black fleet services, neckties and the jackets on, and all this stuff looks real cool. But there are persons who pay for that service, and persons who are into that business right now in Anguilla are making a lot of money. A lot of money is being made from that business, you see. So again, what used to be a normal thing back in the day, and we were not too in favor of that, we weren't really into that a whole lot. Right now, I'm seeing young guys who are out of school now, adjusting their neckties and their jackets on, and they're chauffeurs, okay, and they're making their money. From what I heard from a partner of mine who's involved in that stuff, you can make thousands of dollars easy thousands of dollars is in the business already. But the issue of plates has become a major one. People complain. The older guys who are around for a long time complain about the C vehicles coming in and putting passengers out. Well, the issue with that is not such an issue because the guys with the C plates, they are marketing overseas. Persons who are coming to Anguilla are being booked overseas from overseas, and they're coming in, and they expect to have a pickup, arranged airport or seaport, pickup. We know that the guys have warm towels and the bottled water and the drinks and on board, etc. So that service is a bit above what a regular taxi man will offer you. It's a bit above that, but at the same time, there's a lot of people are mad rush to be involved with that service, and there's a need for regulation, more regulations. So what the minister said today at the press conference is that they intend to look at that. They intend to do some amendments to that legislation to make it, to streamline it and to bring more control because there's a lot going on in that area. And in fact, this is what he said. This is what he said today about those C plates and tax operators in Anguilla when he spoke to reporters during the government press briefing today. Here we go right now.
Did an audit of persons who had valid taxi licenses before the board would have met to issue the recent set of taxi licenses that would have been issued. And the complement of about 35 or so that they issued would have brought it to a total of 100, which is currently mandated right now as the upper limit. It's within the remit of the transportation board to decide if that's enough and if they need to go up and down. But in terms of registered taxi licenses, we are talking about the ballpark of 100. And I say that to say registered taxi operators, because we do know that there is an issue with a number of persons who do not have valid chauffeur licenses, do not have valid taxi licenses, who are currently operating as if they are taxis and chauffeurs. So that is an issue that we are also aware of and looking to address.
What's the difference between a van that says taxi and a van that has C on it?
So you can have a taxi license or you can have a chauffeur license if you're a valid ground transportation operator within Anguilla. The difference is if you're a taxi operator, you are able to conduct business at the ports. You're able to go to the port, put your number down, wait in line, get dispatched and pick up persons from the ports. Persons who are chauffeur operators are not able to conduct business directly from the ports unless they have a direct booking from someone. So they can't just go and wait at the taxi stand at the port, for example. One of the shortfalls that we have identified that has led to the proliferation of persons who are not validly licensed to be able to go and conduct business at the ports is the whole idea of the C plates. So some people see C as, oh, I have my chauffeur license, I have a C plate, that means I'm a chauffeur. That's not actually how the legislation is written and how it's conducted. The issue is C stands for commercial or company. So take, for example, you would have someone who has a construction business, for example, who they get a company car because they have a valid business license and they're able to take out a C plate. And for the persons who are conducting technically what would be illegal business, they go under a different business license, whether it's not having a chauffeur's license, but they get the C plate, and then they go to the ports and they pretend, I should say, for lack of a better word, to be chauffeurs. So that's one of the things that we're looking at addressing in the Vehicle and Road Traffic Amendment in terms of how we change the license plate structure, not only so that we'll be able to produce the license plates locally, but also to make a clear distinction between commercial, chauffeurs, and taxis.
All right, Minister Jose Vanderpool speaking there about that situation. So again, he's saying that there is a clear distinction between taximen and chauffeurs, and also the C plate and the T plates. And what he would have made mention of what I go, is very important information because before tonight, I was of the view that once a C plate on your vehicle, you could have gone out there and pick up people and run them like that with your C plate. He's saying no, you're supposed to have also a chauffeur license as well. So the person who doesn't have the licenses who are going to the down there and doing business with a C plate. C plate mean company, but there are persons, he said, who are going down there pretending to be chauffeurs and doing business at the port as well, and they intend to address that via legislation. There's a act that is in place, and they are looking at the act right now with the view to amending the act to remedy those situations right there. So I heard about that. Taxi men are crying about that too, but what he's saying is that there's some people who are not really chauffeurs either, who are not supposed to be using those C plates for that purpose, who are going down there at the port ports and posing as if they are chauffeurs, pretending to be chauffeurs and they're doing business at the ports. That is wrong. Okay, so we heard that as well. But I think what is happening is that the young fellas, they understand that there's money to be made in the chauffeur's business and also the taxi business, and they're trying to get in. There are a number of young men, 35 were recently awarded licenses, and you have a lot of batch of guys who are trying to get in too. So the youngsters understand that money is in this thing, taxi driving, and also into the chauffeur business, in the black van business, so they're trying to get in to make some money as well. But too many cooks will spoil the pot, so there's a need for regulation to ensure that there's a smooth functioning chauffeur system and also a smooth functioning taxi operating system as well, with the view to maintaining law and order, with the view to maintaining professionalism too, and don't have it to occur this. So the legislation, the regulation will fix that. He's saying, but at what point will that regulation come? I don't know, but he's saying that at what point will you do the amendments? I don't know, but he's saying that he intends to fix that by way of amending the legislation, right? So let's see how far that goes, all right? So, folks, and right now we are just about 5 minutes after 9, and 9:30, 9:40, thereabout. I'm going to end it this evening at around that time, and for you here on our Monday night program, the program where we discuss the issues that are relevant to the people of Anguilla in a very big way. Another big issue that is swirling out there, Donald Trump, before I get to the other local issues, Donald Trump, this one affects Anguillans too. Donald Trump is now turning down visas for persons who are going to America. He has an issue with what he called tourism birth. People who will go to America to make babies. He wants to block that. He went to the court one time. The court would have turned it down. He was trying to revoke and they're trying to really and truly to dismantle the process for even persons who are born in America, not to American parents. He was trying for the court to overturn those that law as well. But the court held firm on that, so he did not get you there. What he's now doing is revoking visas, and so far he would have done more than 500,000 visas so far, revocations around the world. So he's turning visas down left, right, and center because he wants to stop what he called birthplace tourism. He don't want you to come to America to make babies anymore. That's what Trump is now saying as well. So it's in full effect, and I saw tonight really on the news wires and even here on our newscast tonight that is now happening. They are now revoking those visas. They're now denying visas. They're now tearing up visas, actually, as we say in our local twang, for persons who they believe are going there to North America really to make babies. All right, so. We are in some uncharted waters with Donald Trump and his American First agenda. We don't know what to expect, but right now that's one of the issues that are right now on the front center and front burner really for him there in North America. So it's a difficult time for persons usually who would go to America to make babies, persons who go there. Visas now is a major problem, and he's not issuing visas. To get a visa now for some countries is costing thousands of dollars, and some places can't get visas at all in the American system. That is happening right now under the Trump America. So there are persons who can't wait for Trump to get out of office as quickly as possible because of the issue that are unfolding right now there. Is one after the next. We are getting from that administration. Lots of things are happening there that that are not really in our favor as black people in the Caribbean. We know that, but again, he's just warming up, and time will tell as to how far he will go with the Trump agenda. Right, so it's happening, and we are curious and bystanders, onlookers of the happenings, really. But this affects lots of people in North America who would have gone there to make babies, really and truly. So I don't understand the American game plan, though, because here it is. They would need babies. They're going to need babies in North America to work. They're going to need a labor force to work the fruit orchards, the oranges and the apple trees and the grape trees and all this stuff. Even though they're mechanized and they're going to need human labor at some point in the chain to effect those productions. You see, also for Irish potato farms, you need manpower to help do the menial jobs in North America, the garbage disposal, etc. Americans won't do that stuff. So when you deport all of these people, I don't see the plan. I don't see the play. Who will do the work though when we are deporting all these persons back to their respective countries? Who will stand in place? Who will do the work in America for American? Who will be working in the factories? Who will be in the farms taking care of the animals, the chickens, the pigs, the beef, the cows, etc. Who will be doing those things? Because those persons who are being deported or not being harassed by ICE agents, these are the persons who are doing those menial and labor jobs. Those persons are working in those areas, and you see, you won't get the American youngsters out there to till the soil. They won't help you harvest potatoes. They won't help you harvest apples and oranges and grapes. Nope, they won't do that. That job for the Mexicans and the Cubans and Costa Ricans and other Caribbean people who are there, Jamaicans who are working in the field. They will do that for them. They will do that for sure, right? So that's where we are right now. That's where we are right now with those happenings right there. So, so just to say again, I don't fully understand, the end game for Donald Trump, what he's trying to achieve by deporting all these people. Because again, if you're gonna fight the Chinese, who are now major players in the world economy because of their cheap labor, because of their production power. Production power requires human capital, labor, resources. It requires that. So when you remove the labor, you will not have that power really. So maybe there's a bigger plan that they have somewhere, but I'm yet to see the play. I cannot see the sense. I cannot see through what they're doing right now. But I guess time will tell really what it is. Maybe the Bible is being fulfilled. Who knows? Maybe it's the end time. I don't know. But things are serious. Okay. So right now, folks, that's where we are right now. Other than that, what's happening? What's buzzing today out there? What is buzzing across the world right now? And the world won't get in terms of getting better. For the world, I don't know. You have all these battles that are being fought. Americans are locked in a protracted battle with Iran. That there's no sign of letting up in that area at all either. We are seeing that happening to us here. It's a protracted battle with Iran that's also unfolding unfolding across this hemisphere right now, and it's causing this cost of it's driving the cost of certain items up to the roof. So that coupled with the Trump immigration policies really are having an effect on the cost of living, not only for Americans but for the world as well. You see, so you would be faced with all these things in these times right now, and we are being called upon to navigate a very complex world. This is not an easy world right now. It's a very complex world to navigate, and we are called upon to do our best to navigate what is happening on the world scene right now. So that's where we are right now. The good thing is that tourism has held true for us, even despite those wars. Last tourist season that's now going out. We have had a bumper season, a great season, even up until recently there. I'm not sure about right today, but recently, even during Carnival, loads of Americans, I was the blowing point someday here, and I was amazed to see the port. Lots of the trippers outside of the terminal building and all this stuff, and lots of them out there trying to get back to St. Martin, you see, on the boat. So it tells me that tourism itself has changed a whole lot for us. What used to be the very shoulder months and slow months for us, picking up steam as well. And what will be the game changer for Anguilla is when we complete the airport runway. That will be a major game changer. We are now seeing what's happening to us right now, and we have not done the work to the airstrip as yet. Once that is done, Anguilla will be a different Anguilla. We're going to see lots more people, more traffic, and so you're going to have literally a season that goes all year round. That's the airport will guarantee you that. Airport will guarantee you that. You can see what happened with Bermuda Air and American Airlines when they're coming in, how it looks in Anguilla, right? So that stuff will be amplified 3, 4, 5-fold once you have the airstrip here in Anguilla done. That is where we are right now at this point in time, right? So a great season it was for sure. And again, lots of persons made money in those sea vehicles and those black vehicles with the sea plates on them. Also, taxi drivers made money as well. So they all were happy, really, for the last season. One of the best seasons, on a record for Anguilla and a number of other Caribbean countries too. And I wonder what drove that though, because is it the issue in Cuba? I don't think so. Something would have driven that up. But for the most part, they're tourists that come from North America, and that's where they travel to Anguilla and other countries and Dominican Republic in high numbers. DR, Dominican Republic, was also a major beneficiary of high volume numbers too. They enjoyed lots of visitors, and of course they have They are a major attraction in this part of the world. Santo Domingo, as we call it, Dominican Republic. They have lots of numbers down there. They do big numbers in tourism. Jamaica does some numbers too. Jamaica took a hit recently with the hurricanes. I wonder if they were out, and that's why the region here was seeing so much, we're seeing increases the way that we were. I'm not sure, but there was a massive ramp up of tourists that came to these sides here during this past winter season, right? So let's hope we have that same touch next year, because it was good for the economy, great for persons who are dependent on that sector, and in generally good for all of us as a people, great for all of us as a people as well, okay? Other than that, what's buzzing tonight out there? I know that for some reason you love to hear me on the issues, and you sit back and you just absorb that stuff. I hear you. Well, I don't mind. I understand it. Other than that, though, the other issues we are facing right now there, the issue of legal action. Now, this morning I was, in here, on my way back in here, and I received a letter that came from representatives for legal people for Fitzroy Brigadier Tomlinson. His people sent me a letter, a statement this morning, and I was taken aback when I saw the note about the defamation. Persons are really, after Briggy, and apparently they was on a program, not here, elsewhere, and there were persons who would have said some disparaging things about Fitzroy Brigadier Tomlinson, Brother Briggy, really and truly, without having the facts, it seems, and without trying to understand what was happening. Apparently, they were saying that Briggy did something to enriching himself, apparently, using the office here. Now, we would have been through the Briggy situation over the years. Back in 2010, 2009, so I wasn't there, and the Briggy went to court and won a case against the government. They had to pay Briggy a lot of money already. And those things that were spoken of recently were proven not to be true. And we are back at them again now with this time around. It seems like one of my brothers, Brother Vanya, would have said something. It seems, I don't know who all would have said things, but Vanya would have apologized today. It seems like for the comments he made on the program somewhere, which is the right thing to do, because it makes no sense being a hero. In these matters, when you're wrong, you're wrong. Just say sorry and move along. And he would have done that apparently, and had apologized with it to Fitzroy Brigadier Tomlinson for comments made. Others who have said the very same thing were warned by Briggy by way of a public statement published today on social media. Quite a bit was said in that document. So, but in that letter though from Briggy's statement, I felt it. I felt a man bearing his soul. A man who was tired of people attacking him too, and a man who was eager to set the record straight, because the truth be told, when it comes to Carnival here in Anguilla and equipment, there were two men in Anguilla for years who ran Carnival. One is two of my buddies, Gilbert Gaff Fleming and Frankie Rogers over the years. Those two men over the years, and they were responsible for security and sound system reinforcement. They were the ones who really took Carnival on their shoulders for years. And over the years, I'm very impressed with Gilbert Fleming Gaff, who began with one stage and a roof and a little truck and a little thing, and today he has become a major sound reinforcement contractor, lighting systems, sound engineering systems everywhere. He have invested heavily in the business, lots of equipment. I've noted that he have gone full speed, and Gaff is a man who went to school for. Gaff, my brother Gaff, is someone who would have been to school for many things. Gaff is a top-notch accountant too. Gaff would have been to Harvard University. Gaff is a Harvard graduate. Gaff is a Harvard graduate. He's an Ivy League scholar. Really, that's what he is. Gilbert Fleming, my brother Gaff, is an Ivy League scholar. Okay, he's been to Harvard University. He have a master's in accounting and those things. Gaff is a man who can do lots of figures, and he also has a degree too, a background in lands, the demarcation of lands, cadastral business. He's a surveyor as well. He's a land surveyor too. He's also a computer technician. That part of it as well. And these are things that he does all the time. But he loved the sound reinforcement business, and he have invested. To my mind, he have gone full headlong into sound reinforcement, stage lighting right now. He have multiple platforms he can work from. Right, so to suggest that somehow Briggy is trying to get in there and do, no, that's the GAF domain. GAF have it covered. GAF have systems and can done. GAF have enough systems to build 3 or 4 stages in roofs at the same time now. From what I'm seeing him with containers here, pack here, this here. He can't. He don't have room to hold the stuff that he have. Speakers, lights, and all these things really. And he would have won the contract really for Summer Festival this year again. And he would have done his magic really and truly. Yeah, his magic along with his son G. So the comments that he made about Briggy and trying to be involved in that stuff there, I think that will rub him hard because he know it was not true. But they were saying that. But again though, thanks, Brother Vanya would have apologized for whatever he said there. And other persons, because people would have believed that stuff, because already, there's some who don't like Briggy too much, really and truly. There's some persons, really. And to hear those things would have further fueled a lot of things, really, here among our people. But this, again, goes back to the Thomas Kelly situation, and I thought that people would have learned from that. I thought that people like Brother Vanya and others would have learned from the Thomas Kelly situation. Being the persons right now in the court, every day in the court, backward and forward, people going court all during carnival. And, I mean, it's a disgusting thing. I mean, that thing is enough to drive you crazy, to send you crazy. You're in the court for something that you did not create, and you're in court before carnival, after carnival. I mean, you can't settle your mind. You're in and out of court, and that's how Kelly have a number of persons here in Angola right now for their mouths, you see, and things that they were saying. And I thought that these guys would have learned from that, but apparently they still have the energy to, and the fortitude to attack really on that level without trying to understand that these things cost money. But he was smart enough, Brother Vanya. Let me thank you for that. He was smart enough to just back away from that quickly and just apologize quick, because man, when you don't apologize in these things, it gets serious. And even with apologies, persons can check you because you damage their character based on what the legal people tell them. You see, so it's a very dangerous thing. Now we have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Speech is free, but yet it ain't so free, because you cannot say what you feel like about people and walk away. Now, I come to these platforms for years, every day, every nighttime, morning, whenever, and I speak from the platforms here. And I come here with very conscious of the fact that I cannot slander people the way I feel. If I get up today and say that you do this and that, you may not like me. You may hate me for whatever reason, and that there are persons who really hate me, I know for sure. But not because you hate me mean that you can get up and slander me because you hate me. No, there are avenues of where I can seek redress for you doing me that. When you trample upon my name and begin to slander and all that stuff because of hatred, because you don't like me, there are avenues of redress. You have the court system there that will bring redress to the matter in a hurry once you have the lawyers to deal with the matter, you see. So we just can't say what we feel like because we don't like somebody. We have to be able to be responsible as well. So freedom of speech, yes, but it doesn't give you a license to go out there and damage people's character, reputation with words, because words can do great harm to reputations and to families too, because people have families. I saw how this thing affected Eddie Kelly's children when they were when Kai and those girls were hearing that this thing was going around on WhatsApp and social media. It was frightening to see that this was happening to their father, who they know to be another kind of man. So those things you pay for as well, and I'm sure the same with Briggy, who have grandchildren, children, all that stuff, and they have persons out there trampling his name, like that. Really, he has to protect his reputation, his character too, from people who are doing those things. So a clear message, and he also would have said that to other persons who are sharing and saying these things, be careful, because once you begin to share, you are the problem as well. This is how Thomas Kelly would have caught up with so many persons, because they were sharing and they were warned not to do these things, and they were placing them about the spaces on social media. So you see, so the world has changed a whole lot now. It's not like before. Back in the day, I could have said, called you names and all that stuff, and did you all sorts of wrong things, and I would have you would have taken it right now. But in today's world now, as you trample a man's reputation, and people have good reasons to protect their names and reputations, because in these times, whatever we say here, I'm speaking to you here from Wilmette State right now, but I'm being beamed across the world on all sorts of platforms everywhere. I'm going the world in cycles, really, in cycles, just like that. Just like that, every word that's being said here is being transmitted way beyond our shores around the globe. Back in those days when you shouted from House of Assembly or from somewhere in the valley and on a radio system or something, you were heard in the Valley Bottom, maybe St. Martin a little bit, South Hill area, Blowing Point. But today, when you shout today, when you speak up in Anguilla today and you go on your phone, you're going viral. You're going around the world right now, really, because things have changed a whole lot. So that means that's why persons are now more concerned because the damages, and then also too to compound the situation, you're creating a digital footprint really of these things because these things go online. You go online right now, you search my name, you'll see where people try to sue Hammer. So you doing business with me, and you see right away that I was already sued by this person, that person trying to sue me, try to sue the station and all that stuff. You can see those things on. So there is a digital footprint that is available, that will always be there, really, with these things. So that's why it's all the more important for persons whose names are being called, really, in these, on several things, to step up to defend themselves, because you cannot afford to have, persons create a digital footpath on you over there that's negative. That can affect you in the years to come. You're doing business. People go online, Google your name. All these things come up because of people bad actors trying to smear you because of politics and because of some personal vendettas. It doesn't work that way. So that's why persons have to defend themselves now when they find themselves in these situations where persons are saying things that they cannot prove. So my advice to you is this, once again, tonight here. If you cannot prove something, don't say it. If you cannot prove that I am a this and a that, don't say it. Because you're going to have to answer to the lawyers, okay? And you're going to have to answer to legal people. If you cannot substantiate your story, if you cannot back up your story, if it cannot be founded, if it's unfounded, you must be able to back it up, okay? All right, so unsubstantiated stories cannot fly around the place. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in a spot. And oftentimes, who get in these troubles are persons who have no money. Poor people get in trouble all the time. The big boys who got dollars oftentimes are free. They're not involved. It's poor people who get themselves in these things here. And most times, the poor people are the ones who are defending some bigger boys sometimes, you see. And that's a problem we're facing in Anguilla too. So don't allow yourself to be anybody's puppet or fool. Try to stay clear, because when the rubber hits the road and the shit hits the fan and they begin to splatter, it's going to be you. It won't be those persons who are supporting and urging you forward. So near, and that is where we are right now. So that is where we are right now. So you have to prove these things about people. You have to prove these things about people when you're saying things. You just can't say things without proof, okay? Therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem we are facing in our society, okay? So modern times are here now, very modern times and different times. And again, there's several persons in Anguilla who are before the courts, really. And they can have a lot of people before the court right now for slander, defamation, and and sometimes I feel really bad for those people, because to know that they are not the originators of the content that has landed them in trouble, but because of the fact that they were sharing their stuff and were being told to stop, and they kept on persisting, they found themselves in the crosshairs of Kelly and a whole load of hot water, legal hot water. They found themselves in as well. Okay, so we're here. So right now, folks, just about 28 down after the 9 o'clock hour. That is our time here on Class FM here on this lovely evening. That's where we are here tonight on the program. Just to let you know that. So we're here, and we're gonna keep it short. Yes, and wow. Okay, so all right. So I'm seeing it here now. The person's like, "What? I'm telling you, boy. I tell you, oh boy." All right, so, I tell you, so it's all happening already. So things are happening. So legal documents are flying like crazy. I'm now seeing lawyer letters apparently going around. So this is not a good thing. Not a good thing. Okay, and we are here Um, and we are here, guys. Class FM here in the evening time. Okay, so Class FM here in the evening time, DJ Hammer. I am here in your company for here in the evening time, right? So, what is the way forward for us as a people? The way forward for Anguilla, to my mind, is we have suffered. We have created some rifts in Anguilla. And I don't know. Over the years, we have had our share of battling with politicians and parties, and I would have had that with bands over the years too. I mean, in my formative years, I would have enjoyed creating a lot of rackers for Carnival and creating a lot of bacchanal too with politics as well. But what I'm now seeing more and more as I grow older, I'm now seeing the division really that these things are driving and are fueling. I'm seeing what we are right now as a people, and you have families in Angola who are families, brothers and sisters who are not getting on because of politics. It's happening in our land. I mean, people have different views on matters, and they become enemies. You have family members, husband, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, are not agreeing because they are not aligned on particular issues in politics. And what is really sad is that while these things are happening in our society, you have persons who are, politicians who are living great. They are handing glove, they're doing great on all sides while they cuss and carry on. When they bunks up in the House of Assembly, after the cameras are turned off, when they go on the corners, they can talk and they're friends. They are part of a very special club. They live like that, some for the most part. Right now, in Anguilla, you have persons who, once they're on that side, they cut you off because you are not talking their language, so you're not their friend. It has become very personal for lots of people in our society. And I oftentimes, in my mind, and really truly, I've oftentimes told it to other persons too. Don't allow politics to divide you to the point where you turn your own neighbors and your own friends into enemies. That is wrong. It is wrong. It was wrong then. It's wrong now. You should never allow politics to create that situation. People should not have to go to court to defend themselves against you. People should have to go to court to defend their name against you because of you're trying to destroy them through politics or whatever. It should not be the case. It should not be the case. All right? We need to show more love for each other. If I have a view that's different to yours, man, that's my view. You have one, that's yours too. Why can't we live? Why can't we get along though? We can get along on other things. And that's how over the years I've done that in my life. We don't agree on this matter here, but we can agree over here on the other side. So let's work where we can agree. We have an issue on this side here. We have we have a difference of opinion here, so we can't agree there. We're not going to work there, but we can work on this other side where we share our view on these other areas here. So that is how it should be. That is how it should be, really, in our society. But there are those persons who are fueling that stuff, who are fueling it for political reasons, and there are some persons who are not even checking to see how this is going down for them, dangerous stuff. And so my advice is don't allow any person to get you riled up to the point where you're prepared to go forward and become the sacrificial lamb for them. That is happening in our society as well. There are persons who are prepared to go to the slaughter just to to be able to defend who they believe in. Don't do that. Don't do that. You are no superhero. You're a human being. You have bills to pay. You have your family to feed. You have to be cautious about your life. You're a certain age right now, and those things doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm not gonna go to prison. I'm not gonna go to get in trouble for any politician or any surrogate of politicians. Nobody will get me to do their bidding for them around here. Nobody at all. Nobody. I'm not going to do your bidding to the point where I'm going to get in trouble for things I'm saying in trying to further your agenda. Not me. That's not the way it should. That's not how it should be. Not how it should be at all, really and truly. So that's my advice to you today. So going forward, and again, we have plenty of examples here in Anguilla to see persons who find themselves in legal quagmire, hot water, crosshairs, with no help from politicians, nor their surrogates, nor their friends. They are all alone. I would have been to court recently, and I saw somebody in the court a young person in court, and I stopped by just to see what's happening there because Kelly is my partner, and to see what's happening here. He came in for a matter, and to see persons by themselves, without support of others who I'm sure would have backed them up with these things. It pained my heart. It's painful to see those things happening to our people, and you're being harassed in the court, and you have no support there from nobody else but yourself. So that's a lesson. I came from the one day I told to one of the office, the guys in my office here, I said, listen, never follow a multitude to do wrong things out there, because whenever push comes to shove, you're on your own. You're on your own, literally on your own. And I walk away from that area feeling so bad, sad to see how this person was being harassed really by a system, for things that that person did not produce or make, and being terribly harassed in a court system. Terrible, with no support, only the support of a significant other, and nobody else to support them. You see, so those things are lessons. When you see those things happening, you must tell yourself, where's the crowd who cheers you on when things are looking good? They're not there when the hot water is boiling. So I'm very cautious with that. So don't give me information that doesn't check out. For years I've survived that for years. For every day, the person will come to you with a lot of information. And I've oftentimes told my people here that all my persons who engage in talk shows with us here on Class FM, I said, listen, you cannot run a story if it doesn't check out. You cannot go with this if it doesn't check out. It must check out. If it doesn't check out, you have a problem. Okay? Anytime that you doubt your sources too, don't fly with a story. You must do the work, put the work in to make sure you understand the story. If you can't trust your sources, do not run with a story. Don't fly with it. Okay? And that is how we survive over the years too. I saved lots of my talk show people here with that over the years. Sometimes you laugh to hear me say, hey, stop. You laugh sometimes to hear me saying that's some of my people. But you must understand after a while you understand libel and slander and these things, you see. And you can tell when somebody's going in the wrong direction with the things they're saying. You can tell when the words are coming together in a sentence that is going to put them in trouble too. Words are funny. When you string a line to sentence together, that sentence has to be clear. Otherwise, you can find yourself in trouble because of a sentence that you would have spoken somewhere on a program that slams you into libel and slander one time. So the way you line your words up can put you in trouble as one time as well, right? So, but again, don't allow persons to get you in that trap, because it is happening far too often now. And in the case of Brother Vanya, I know how he feels about lots of things. And he's a patriot, love Anguilla big time. He loved culture too big time. Vanya loved culture bad. He loved it bad. And sometimes he will get mad when things are not going the way he thinks it should go either. But at the same time, he can't allow other persons too who feel the same way. You can't allow those feelings to put you in a problem where you're being, that you'll be hammered in a court. Doesn't make sense. Does not make a lot of sense. You see, so because at the end of the day, you have the life to live still, and it doesn't make sense to be in court. You're in the court today, tomorrow, next week. You're being harassed by a judge. You're being harassed by lawyers, and man, over something that somebody gave you or something you say, and for that you're before a court, and you're losing time. You should be working, and you're up at the courthouse waiting for hours for your case to call. And when that call today, you lose a whole 6-7 hours of your time for the morning, and this can go on for months and years and all this stuff. And when the case do call, you lose the matter. You have to pay these fees. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that happens really over there. So my advice really is for persons out there to be careful. On either side, on all sides. Whether you're that side or that side, be careful as an Anguillan people. It's very important for us to understand these things. Very cautious. Not because you don't like him or her, you don't like me, and I don't like you, mean that you have a right to slander and damage my reputation. No, you can't. You should not do those things. Right is right and the wrong is wrong. And when the wrong is happening, you must be able to shut wrong down, you see. But again, there are persons who are so bent on this political trajectory, where they're going full speed and believe that it's right. No, it's not right. It's not right. And most times, the persons, again, who get in trouble are the ones who are not benefiting anything from the system. These are the ones who are getting the least from the system. Getting the least from the system, the ones who are benefiting the least. And those guys who are reaping the rewards, the big hogs, some of them who are getting favors or getting things done in the system by special favors done, they are the ones who are very quiet. And the guys who are getting crumbs from the table are the ones who are very loud and they're very obnoxious and very insulting and very abrasive to other people. And that is a problem right there. The guys who are milking the cow, trying to milk the cow, are very quiet. You won't hear them make a noise, not a sound. They'll be very calm, but you'll make noise, and they might support you somehow half-heartedly, give you something if you need something, a sponsorship for something, give you some little thing here and there if you want to have that. But for the most part, when the real rubber hits the road, you won't have the support of those people. You'll be on your own, as I've seen in recent times with several persons who now find themselves in Thomas Eddie Kelly's crosshairs. Okay, I've seen it with my own eyes. All right, so folks, 20 minutes now before 10, that is our time here. That's our time here this evening. So, again, my advice to you, and doesn't make sense to be mad with me, whoever, because at the end of the day, everybody have their point of view. You know, everybody have their viewpoint that matters, really and truly, and we all must understand right from wrong, and there's not what's good and bad, and right from evil from good, and all these things that are happening there, and you know. And politicians are there to do their thing for a 5-year period. And I now have a simple thing about that. If you go there and you fail me in 5 years, well, then you can't get a second term. You know, I've come to that point now. So go along with you. And if you fail me, well, you can't come back. Simple as that. So I wait for you at the ballot box to deal with you there. If you're disrespectful towards me and you're very rude and you're obnoxious and all these things are happening to you, and I wait for you 5 years and down the road there, and I deal with you at the box as well. That's a simple way, one sure way of dealing with people who are not too nice towards you in politics and country. You have a chance to deal with them at the ballot box. When you go to vote, you can deal with them right there easily. It doesn't make sense to get in trouble really by way of the system, and by slander and libel. Doesn't make sense. There are many other ways of dealing with people who you need to deal with, and one sure way is by voting. You either vote them in or out, and that is I've come to realize that is a very effective way of doing things as well. Very effective method of removing or imposing, politicians, and starting politicians within the system here in Anguilla. Very simple. So there's no need for you to go out there and get yourself in trouble. Following surrogates politicians, because those politicians today, not one of them, I shouldn't say that, not for the most part, they are clear. Their hands are clean in terms of these things that are going around. They are not being sued. They are very clear. Who are being sued are their supporters, which is very sad, very sad. All right, so folks, and right now we're just about 18 now before 10. That is our time here. I'm gonna end it here in a bit here for you tonight here on the program. Yeah, Class FM 92.9 and St. Martin. Hey, St. Martin, man, good night. Colby, my brother, good night to you. One of St. Martin asked me about waiting politicians. They should come help them to do the money, to pay some money. No, they don't work so. My brother, St. Martin, man, don't work so in Anguilla. When you get in trouble in Anguilla, you're in your own. It's a Martin, but you guys can get in trouble. You call Louis Washington, you call those guys, you call the guys over there on the dot side, and they come through perhaps to help you a little bit. But when you get in trouble in Anguilla as a political henchman, you're on your own. There's no real support for you. It's your family, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your children. Really, those are the ones who stand with you for the most part. The crowd disappears one time from your side. Once you get in trouble, you're on your own. In Anguilla, that's a well-known fact. You remember my brother? That's how it works in Anguilla. Anyhow, so guys, just about 17 now before the 10 o'clock hour. That is our time here this evening. So live in love. Try live in love, because it doesn't make sense. And life is also short. You can see every day how life is working out. People you see, I heard a story of a man who I've seen every day for the last couple of years around here, driving around here, so sharp and nice. And I heard the other day that the guy dropped dead. And, he's maybe American of hearing, but the guy around here was a lot of style, and I oftentimes make jokes with the brother. I heard the guy died. So that's how life goes. Life is so fickle and so uncertain that we have to be able to live it and to the best we can, and not be too stressed out with things. These things of the world will be here. I mean, you must try to see how best you can live yourself and comfortable and clear your mind After all, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't make sense to be caught up in these things. And I can tell you right now, as a man who have been in the system for years, fighting a lot of these battles over the years, you have to find a simpler way of dealing with it. Simpler way. You cannot keep on. You cannot fight the old fight and expect a different result right now. You have to do things differently. That old fight will weigh you down. It's gonna weigh you down. It can cost you trouble too, money, legal matters. It can put you down for sure. In a big way. Had to fight smarter than how you're fighting right now. So, Brother Vanya, and he's a man I believe in, Brother Vanya. I really feel sad for Vanya too, because believe you me, Vanya means well. Vanya means well. I really feel bad for him. He means well, but I also warned him before too about these things. But because I would have seen how the legal system has been working around here in recent times, and I would have warned him. And I know the passion that they have for their country and what they want done and all these things, but it cannot be. You cannot go to a battle fighting blind while you have to fight with a plan, Vanya. And I know you know more than me as a man because you've been around before. You would know these things, but you can't go to a battle fighting while. You must have a game plan, and when you speak up, you must be able to have the facts as well to back up what you're saying. And that is the issue, because right now what he would have done, by that statement, he would have exposed whichever broadcast media he was on to legal action as well. And that's what I think does, it exposes the media house, exposes you and other persons who are around you at the time, according to what they are saying, they too are exposed to legal matters as well. So that's how we are. That's where we are right now. They too can be exposed in this, in these things as well. You see, so lots of people are exposed, and really, when these things occur, it's not only you. Other persons also are come on with as well, you see. So folks, a question here, Hammer, this is going to change Anguilla forever. So no longer can we campaign. No, you can campaign. You can campaign, and yeah, okay. So and you can campaign. You can say what you want to say, but you can campaign, yes. And someone said to me here that Heber Hughes for years was saying things, but Heber Hughes in the end got in trouble too. Don't forget that, In the end, Heber Hughes got in trouble too. There was a night when I did a broadcast at Tire Shop, and after the election, I think it was, and the front had won. Heber Hughes went on a ration down there and said a few things that were, that were not too savory. And there were lawsuits, and for some reason, I don't know how I got out of the hook. I don't know who it was, and at the time in the front who able to get me off the hook, but I was on that hook too. And I recall the fees that came from that. There was a lot of fees you would have to pay for that broadcast we did from Down Tire Shop, and they didn't only sue him, they had sued the station too. They had sued me as well. Yeah, I recall when that thing happened, you see. So so it's not like that. Even before he was died, things had begun to change in Anguilla in terms of the things he was saying. He would have gotten at least 2 or 3 lawsuits. The great Don Mitchell, my great late partner, he too would have been sued for things he said as a judge. He was saying things, writing stuff on a blog, and made a slip up somewhere, and bam, he was sued as well. So it ain't just now the suits that's happening. This was in play for a while now. It's now coming up to the surface even more. It's now much more pronounced. But this would have started back in the early 2000s. Something people began to sue you for your comments that you were making. So it ain't nothing new that I'm trying to do, because somebody said to me here that they're trying to shut people up with lawsuits. That's not true. These things were happening all the time. Persons had to defend themselves, and they had to run to the court to seek legal redress, remedies, because they couldn't get it in other how. The only other way to seek redress is by meeting you and fighting you, and that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So the civil way and the peaceful way to resolve those matters, those conflicts, is to go to the court and to seek the court's remedy from the court to stop you from interfering with my character, and to make you pay for damaging my reputation. That is the way that people are choosing to operate now. So politics, campaigns will be normal. Somebody say we change forever. No, we change forever. We've always been this way. You can campaign, but you must campaign with the things that are truthful. Why would you want to campaign against me and telling pure lies and slandering me without the truth? You must be able to. That's not a good, cool way to campaign. You must campaign on a rostrum or on the public space about me with the factual things. and that will be okay. But you cannot campaign against me and be lashing me with things that are half truths and half lies and lies, outright lies and the slander. And that happens in Angola a whole lot now. They give you a lot of fluff, and that stuff goes to people, and they have these chats, and they have these WhatsApps going around, and they feed that stuff to their supporters who believe the lies sometimes too. Well, most times as well. So all that stuff you have to pay for, trying to manipulate the minds of people, Anguillans, believing that you're right, and by what you're doing and saying because you're saying it, and no. That's why it's important for persons to be checked by the system when they're lying, when they're trying to destroy people's character. Okay? That's for sure. So you can campaign. You can go and campaign. You can say all you want to say, but don't slander. Don't damage. Don't malign. Don't malign people's reputation. You can say what you feel like saying with your mouth. You can cuss and carry on, but don't say things that you can't prove. That's my advice to you. And I have survived that way for years because I cannot say things that I can't prove. And there are persons who are going behind false names. For example, there are many people online with all kinds of names that are fictitious, fake names, writing, saying things. Those are cowards. Those are cowards. You should be able to come forward and say what you're saying in your name. Amen. Because when persons are speaking up here, and when they come forward, they say things right here in their names, and no fear. When I come to the platform to just talk with you, to speak with you on matters, I show up here as me every time, without fear or favor, because I'm coming not to slander, I'm coming to do a program. You see. But the persons who are from the get-go just hide behind these curtains and of fake names, and they begin to let go information that is twisted, designed to make some people look bad. That's why those persons who are before the court now are before the court, because they were aiding in the continuance, of that fake information. You see. So we must be careful. We must be careful anyhow. So guys, under one love, I'll leave you here now. So 10 now before 10. I've never seen. And it's defamation of character. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. The defamation of character and libel and slander. Yes, because I know what it is, and it is a problem that we're facing, not only in Angola but across the world actually. Donald Trump and those guys that he's using every time. He's in court every time. But it is sad because the court is just money. You go to court and you have to pay money, and it's a never-ending cycle of payments. And you, as a poor woman, a poor man, have to put money in the court system. You can't get your house finished. You can't pay for this. You can't pay for these things. And you have to go there and pay for a lot of things. And legal fees ain't cheap. And the guys, sometimes you're fighting against people who have deeper pockets than yours. In the case of Kelly, I know that his King's Counsel was working for like $1,000 and not a day, almost every hour. I like that, you see. And so those are high fees to be paying out to people who are working out there, you see. So small fish like we need to stay out of the shark's way. We are some small fish, and when you're a small fish, you need to stay away from the big shark tanks. Shark tanks are dangerous. Shark tanks can be very dangerous. So avoid getting into shark tanks. There are some shark holding areas that can be dangerous for you. All right. So if you're a small fish, don't venture over into the tanks where the sharks are, because you will be eaten up. Okay, so that's where. So you love your parties, yes. Love your politicians. Love this person, yeah. Do that. But don't you dare set out to slander, because if you cannot prove it, it's like going over in the deep. You can't swim, but you're going in the deep water. If you ever step over your depth, you can't come back. Be careful, okay? Once you can, if you step over your depth, it's like hell to get back to the hard sand in the sea. If you can't swim, it's trouble. A lot of trouble. Plenty of trouble. Problems in galore. All right, so folks, and so I think I can end it here now with you, and yep, I can end it here with you. Let's live in love, man, because again, there are persons in Anguilla today, because of, and this has been the case for me for years, because of my personal views on matters, some matters, there are some persons who believe that because of, my commentaries and the things I've said, the persons who over the years who have worked along with over the years in business, who have refused to work with me because of those views. That's how it is in today's Anguilla. It has come to that point where the people are very personal. Some persons are personal, and they refuse to work with you because of your point of view on matters. But when I find people like that coming my way, I'm happy that they're gone because I've built my reputation on being a straight up kind of a hard nosed kind of a guy. And any person who believes that they can stifle me because they are a supporter or a sponsor, no man, you can take your stuff and go because I'm not about that for sure. You can take your stuff and go. I'm not about that for sure. And I would have told that to even expats, white people. Hey, you around here and you believe you can control because XYZ, take your stuff and go where the hell you're going. I've told that to Americans, people, business people over the years as well. You cannot buy me out. You cannot buy silence. You cannot shut me up. Only God can do that. All right? So it doesn't matter who you are once you are operating around here, and that's how I am. So for those persons who believe that because you can pull here and pull there, that's good for you. But you cannot shut me up. That will never happen. Not only God can do that. Jah can do those things. All right. So, folks, right now we are here at 5 now before the 10 o'clock hour. That is our time right here on Class FM Radio 92.9. And when Jah shuts you up, you're well shut up. When the great God shuts you up, you're well shut up. You're silent, and that's how it is. So until then, that's how it will be. All right. So, folks, I want to thank you for being for being here, and just to remind you that you can join us here. You can join us here. That's yes, next Monday. Yes. The issue of the I know you want to hear that too. Oh man, I have to go. But the issue of the truck today, a number of persons reported to us that they saw Kyle driving a truck, and I kind of, when I heard that, I was taken aback for a bit. I wonder who truck was it. But then again, just today I began to remember something. I recall when Kyle was, before he was even in politics, I recall walking in the morning time and seeing Kyle pass me driving that same truck for that partner. Before he was in politics, he was helping a friend of his, a school friend of his, some childhood friend of his. And, and I think that continues. And today I spoke to the same guy. He said, man, we have been friends from babies, children. And when I go away, I need support to pull my bins. I trust my friend with my truck. I trust one man in Anguilla for all the years with that truck. And he can go when he have time and do it for me. I appreciate that. So he doesn't understand what it is. And he also would have said to me that he have no government jobs anywhere. He have all the private little things going on for him here and there. So he doesn't understand why is that they're getting on so. But I say, well, the issue is that, the issue is that, it's politics too. And to see a minister driving a truck will startle some people, so they'll be rattled by that. So startled to see that happening. So I guess that's what caused it. But I believe once you explain what's happening, they'll understand that the minister is also a man. He has friends, and he have to help people. But then I also went back in my mind too. I recall seeing him. I recall seeing Kyle before, and Graham to get together, helping my partner Patrick Martinborough through with a truck, helping him deliver stuff. So this was before politics. I would have seen Kyle helping Pat Martinborough, driving a truck for Pat, doing things too. So it's a normal thing, I guess, for him to be with his friends and helping them do things. He can drive trucks, so why not help? If you can't help your friends, then I remember seeing that happening too back in the day, helping Pat with a crane truck, lift things up on cranes and all that stuff. I remember seeing him putting stuff up on top of the roof there by the Caribbean Commercial Center upstairs, one of those buildings, at one time, some years ago. I began to think back. Yeah, the morning time on the walks, back in the days before he joined politics and became involved with that stuff, he would pass you on the walk, blowing his horn, full speed, going down to the dump the bins for Sean Rogers, his schoolmate, school friend. So those things came back to me this morning, today, while I was thinking, and I said, but this guy has been around with this for a long time, but you helping his people then. But when these times, man, it has taken a different tinge, a different slant now, where personally he should not be out there at all. And I had a joke today because he made me laugh this afternoon. I was in the newsroom getting after I did an interview with CXC. He was apparently on his way down to Standing Ground. He said, Hammer, I am going with my father to understand. I want to pay some stuff right now, so I shouldn't go with Max either. I said that's not my call. That's not my call. Depending on who see you down there with your father Max at the port. He asked me if he shouldn't go to Max either. I said I don't know, but that's I said it jokingly though. But really and truly, politicians yes, but at the same time. You have lives to live, but there's certain things, that will always grab the attention of members of the public, and to see a minister driving our trucks, I guess that seemed to have jilted some people who saw that really. But again, he explained, as the owner would explain to me, that sometimes he goes on vacation. When he goes on vacation and needs support, sometimes the same brother, even before he was in politics, were helping him out for years as school friends and partners for years. Right? And I can speak to that because I have friends of mine who are overseas. Well, I have to do everything here for Anguilla. They're overseas, and when they go, they're out of here, I have to do things for them. And these are kids who grew up with me from kindergarten all the way up to high school, you see, and that's how it is. That's just how it is. So just how life plays out, you have to go and help get things done for your friends. And there are friends of mine, too, who come through for me in a very big way when I need support as well. So it's just life. But again, when you're in politics, everything changes. You become a different beast, a different being, it seems like, and you cannot do certain things either. When you're in a public space, it changes for you. In the public space, it's so weird. Sometimes, I had a joke something here. One morning, I was here, and I turned the mic off, and I cleared my throat cough. There was someone who called me after that, and someone called me, asked me if I okay. I cough a while ago, and they don't see me coughing. So even after I said to them, I can't cough either. I can't cough. I can't do nothing. So whatever you do right now, once you're in a public space, they look at you. If you whatever you do in the public space, you are being monitored. And so people like like me, who in the public space, I can't show no emotions. I can't do nothing. If I lay back in this chair here now, like this, which is my usual thing when I have my commercials on, or my ads on, my news clips on, and I go this way like this. I can't do that either. I can't do that either. I can't relax myself either because because that's how it's wired now. But that's the world for you now, though. So after a certain time, there's certain things you can't do. It seems like, which is sad, though, because you must be able to be yourself. And and when you come around here, you can't do it either. That's how it is. So that's what Kyle is out suffering from as well. Kyle is out suffering. From that as well. So, I'm sure other people have the same issue too. But there's some over the years who have gotten away with that stuff. There was one man who could have gotten away with anything over the years in politics. Osborne Fleming could have done anything in Anguilla. Hubert Hughes too could have done anything in Anguilla and get away with it. And in those days, I don't know about in these times now, but in those days there were two men for sure. You're guaranteed who could have done anything that they wanted to do, without creating a public outcry, a backlash from somewhere. Osborne Fleming and Hubert Hughes, they had some luck with that stuff. I don't know how they got it, but they had it for sure in a big way. Guys, got to leave you now. Thank you for being here, and I'll catch you next week, Monday. God's willing. So, yep. So when you're in public spaces, you cannot, you can't cough. You can't. You must be careful. Whatever you do, be careful. Yeah, because. You can't drive a vehicle. You can't drive a truck. You can't be seen certain places. Yeah, that's how it is. When you're in the public, you can't drink certain things either. Somebody told me one time for Carnival there, I was drinking a beer, and the person said I was a Christian. A Christian. I'm a Christian. I said, yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah, Christian. So even that too, you can't drink a beer either. They see that startles some people. You drink a beer, they get scared. You see, that's how it is. That's just how it is, man. That's how it is. So that's how things have changed in Anguilla, and for all of us, and people hold you in certain ways, and the politics also comes into play as well. So you have other stuff happening around you, right? So guys, thank you for your time. Peace and love, and I'll catch you next week, Monday, God's willing, around the same time right here on the Monday Night Show, right here on Class FM Radio 92.9. So good evening to you, and have a good one. I'll catch you next week, God's willing. All right, so Class FM here in the evening time. So We are programming for this Monday night. It is August 17 in the year 2026. And that's where we are right now, time-wise and the date-wise. And I'm going to get to you here shortly with some music. And again, I want to say happy birthday to all those out there, persons today who are celebrating today, birthday. Please enjoy the remainder of this year, very special, occasion. Edgar, my brother, good night to you as well. All listeners and viewers, good evening to you. All the best, man. Have a great one. Have a great one. Class FM here, here in the evening time. So let's get some music going for you here tonight, right here on the Hotspot Class FM radio. 92.9. Trying to get me a song lined up here. For you. Gonna get me a song here ready for you before we move forward here in the evening time, right? So, tomorrow will be CXC official release of the results. It's a big day, big morning planned for Anguilla, and big morning for the Caribbean as well. So it will all come live from Anguilla. So Jamaica will be seeing Anguilla. It's a good thing for Anguilla. You're gonna have other islands like Barbados seeing Anguilla, Grenada seeing, for sure. And our Minister of Social Service Education, Shelia Rogers Webster, will be delivering the keynote address at tomorrow's event. So that's a good thing. So that's tomorrow for sure, right here in Anguilla. You'll hear and see that stuff really on the big screen, right? So. You hold the spot, you've got Class FM radio 92.9. Yeah, hold the spot.
You're curious to know the reason why we gather and celebrate. Why every year around this time we wind, jump and gyrate. Marvel at our behavior, describe it as something strange. I'll do my best to try and explain. So if you've never heard the truth before, here is your chance to know all about the changes of names, separation, degradation. We develop communication using the drums, sending each other messages in rhythm. That is why it's color and carnival in these islands, celebrating freedom throughout the Caribbean. In my land, you'll find love, you'll find peace, a people we are proud of. In my land, you're welcome to our shores. Our hearts and hands open like open doors. You'll find sandy beaches, palms swaying in the breeze. Run with the wind, let your minds be at ease. Come join us as we celebrate 50 years of mass and spree. What a glorious fantasy. It's our golden jubilee. It is about emancipation, our freedom from slavery. Show appreciation for all who died so that we can be free. Similar to World War veterans who assemble and pay tribute, or those who fought against villains and them bruised. So if you never heard the truth before, here is your chance to know about the cotton fields. So hands and bloody knees, whips and scars, rebellion and wars. They will walk from dawn to dusk, morning, noon and night, deprive of every basic human right. That is why we highly anticipate to parade in the streets, to get grand parade of troops, streets filled with color. In my land, it's food fair and pageantry. For carnival, Juve morning is primary. The biggest Caribbean beach festival to thrill your soul. A week of activities at Lansam Bowl. Come join us as we celebrate 50 years of mass and spree. What a glorious fantasy. It's our golden jubilee. From Brazil in South America